Happy birthday, David. Happy 31st birthday. I send you all my love from Mexico. Even though I haven't seen you for 4 years, my love for you has always been the same. I've always been proud of you. I've always let you be your own person. I always gave you your space. And you turned out to be way more balanced than me. Your Libran qualities stand out, and your Scorpio rising and Scorpio moon. Libra is 7 and Scorpio is 8. But you were born exactly 180 degrees opposite me in Libra, 30th of September. And it means a lot. And the reason that you are balanced, whereas your father, Santos Bonacci, has never been balanced, is what I'm going to reveal today to you and to the world. And so that my father, who passed away a couple of years ago, may rest in peace in the other realms. Because what I achieved is I did a great favour to my ancestral line by breaking the chain of abuse. You see, with my son David, from the day he was conceived, I was telling him I loved him in his mother's womb. From the day he was born, I told him I loved him. There was never a day passed where I didn't tell my son, I love you. Because my father, although he was a good man, and I love him, he was not a good father to me. He was good to the other 5 siblings, but me, the firstborn who bears his father's name, Santo Bonacci, for some reason he had it in for me. Never once did my father tell me that he loved me. Never once did he hold me in his arms and reassure me that I was a good boy, which I was. It's taken me 60 years to stop running that program that he conditioned me in before the age of 7. And I just want to share with the world, and especially you, David, my beautiful son. I named you David after King David of the Bible because, well, Psalms 23, the Lord is my shepherd. And because I was always a string player since I was 8 or 9, played the guitar. There it is, my beautiful Ramirez. Ramirez is the best brand of guitar in the world. It's pretty much the first big Ramirez, Jose Ramirez. If you can see inside there, that's Jose Ramirez. I don't know. Anyway, the reason I'm saying this is because I named you David after King David. I also gave you an Iranian Persian name, Amir. David Amir Bonacci. Amir means prince, and David was a king. And Bonacci means good energy. Bon Chi. So you are a king, a prince of good energy. David Amir Bonacci. I know you don't like to use your middle name, Amir. It's cool. But as you mature, more you will. Amir is a beautiful word. You have that in your name. David Amir. Bon. Everything that is bona fide, is good. Now, my father was a really, really good provider, a good father. But he conditioned me before the age of 7. And when I found out that my wife, Angela, was in child, it would have been early 92 because my son was born on the 30th of September 1992. He was born in Essendon Hospital. I used to live in Essendon. That was my football club. I still have a strong affection for that club, but I used to, growing up in Australia, there were 12 Victorian Football League clubs. And, it was part of our culture, and I love football, and especially Aussie rules. And so I'm also proud of the fact that my son was born in Essendon, where I lived. I taught him 4 languages. He could understand French, Spanish, Italian, and English. I taught him to play the guitar. I played with him every day. I broke the chain of my ancestors. I did my ancestors a favour, folks. Because I know, obviously, my ancestors are not resting in peace because my father and my mother had so much trauma from World War II. My father was born on the 17th of September, Virgo, 1933. My mother, 1942. So she's 80 and still alive. I love you, Mum. My mother's Aries like me. I'm March 24th, she was March 26th. I was born 2 days before her 21st birthday, and my father handed me over to her and said, "Here you go. Here is your birthday gift." 2 days early. My mother is, she came to Australia at 14 and learned how to speak English, very intelligent. My father never did, he never bothered. And my mother was a beautiful woman. In fact, all of her sons, Peter, my brother, and David, my brother, we all agree, there's a photo of my mother that I have on my album cover, on the inside of my album Moliendo Café, which I released in 2003. And it's a photo of my mother when she was 14. And her first day in Australia, she arrived and met with friends in Carlton, Lygon Street, Little Italy. And we all agree that picture, we believe that our mother is the most beautiful woman that was. We just think that is the most beautiful photo that we've ever seen of any woman ever. My mother. My father was good looking as well when he was young. That's what they say. I mean, a lot of, the relatives and certain ones over the years I've heard, that Dad was also attractive. But the point is, my father didn't heal from his trauma. He didn't break the chain. He passed it on to me He conditioned me. He conditioned me to react. I was always stupid in his eyes, and I was always too slow. Hurry up, stupid. I heard that millions of times come out of my father's mouth. I've regressed it all and changed it. I've changed that. I've cancelled that timeline, and he knows, and we're all good. He passed away when I was in Mexico, and I couldn't go to his funeral. So how I know that I did my ancestry a favour is that from the day my son was in my arms in the Essendon Hospital, I always kissed him. I love kissing. You know, all my cousins, they used to run away from me because they knew, and my nieces and my nephews, they knew that they would get just lots of kisses, you know. And some of them, my son, this is the funny thing, David, my son, from the day he was born, did not like kisses. But I used to kiss him every day. Until he was in his teens, I think, and then one day, a sad day came in my life. But I understood. He said, Dad, can you, do you mind? Do you mind if you don't kiss me anymore? My friends think it's, you know, they don't like it. And I understood it was cool, but I knew that day was coming. I forget how old he was. He could have been 10, 11, 12, 13, I don't know. But I know I kissed him every day and hugged him and told him I loved him. He would ask me to tell him bedtime stories. I'd make these real Tolkien-esque, Middle-earth, legendary stories, and he would then fall asleep. And so I know I did teach him Tolkien. Of course, I was taught Tolkien at school in grade 3 or 4 or 5 or 6, I remember, before going to college. There was a great teacher who taught me how to play the guitar, Mr. Redfern. If you ever listen to this, Mr. Redfern, I owe to you Tolkien and the guitar. You taught me how to play the guitar. And, yeah, that was in the early 70s. So what transpired in my life was a lot of pain. I never heard the words from my father, I love you. Never. Never a hug, never any reassurance. Always I was inadequate. But I thank the universe because I guess it made me reach deeper in and dig deeper to... Am I talking to myself here? Oh, no. Okay. So it made me dig deeper, and I guess it eventually helped me to get syncretism and music. I have to add that when I started, I've done 5 studio albums. I used to be a street performer from 2000 to 2012, and then syncretism took over, and I haven't played the guitar for 12 years. Really, just a little bit at home here. But I was professional for years, sold a couple 100,000 CDs. My music's available on all platforms. It's a fusion. It's a fusion of flavours of flamenco, Latin and jazz, but it's my music. And the Gypsy Kings. I saw them live in Melbourne in 1989. And I was going down the classical and baroque road with my music, Bach and Vivaldi, and those guys changed forever my music, as did Led Zeppelin. I discovered them when I was 14 in 77. Changed my life. The most Tolkien-esque band in the world. So, going back to wishing my son a happy 31st birthday and the rest of his life, I know that you are very, very soon. I mean, I don't want to share your plans that are very, very exciting, and I'm very proud of you, son. I'm proud of you for what's coming down the line, because I don't want to jeopardize. There's always parasitic entities that would love to sabotage your success. But since I met Killer Priest 3 years ago, and you made that connection with Killer Priest and Wu-Tang Clan, I remember you always loved Tupac since you were 15. You always had your favourite rappers and Killer Priest. And we also got that podcast when I was living in Oaxaca, in San Agustinillo, Mazunte. And that earthquake happened at the end of the podcast. It was you, me, and Killer Priest. Well, I know what's coming down the track with some American rappers that are really, really big, and you're connected with them, and they're going to collaborate with you, and I wish you all the best. And I know, and I will always love you and protect you, and you will succeed when you come to America and hook up with the best in the music industry, because you've gained a lot of respect as a music producer in Australia, and you deserve it. You deserve what's coming. The success, I wouldn't call it success, I would call it the reward for your blood, sweat and tears. I know what you've gone through, and I know you've got a lot of friends with Jupiter and the Sun in the 11th house, the house of friends. You're bound to have a lot of friends. And believe you me, folks, I don't know anyone who's got more friends, good friends, than my son, David Amir Bonacci. And all of his friends will agree. They all love him. Everyone loves him, because I let him have his space. I let him know that he had value. I didn't treat him as a father. He was my friend. He knows that. In fact, he calls me bro. Hey, bro, how's it going? I love you. Every time we talk, we tell each other that we love each other. I've always said to my son, you're the most beautiful being for me in the universe. I always told him how beautiful he was with his blue eyes. I got brown eyes, his mother had green eyes, and he's got blue eyes. Talk about the rainbow family. I think Quetzalcoatl, or the rainbow serpent, must have been in the stars the the day you were conceived, because you got those blue eyes. By the way, brown eyes are red, guys. You've either got red or blue. It's red shift, blue shift. It's not brown, it's red. Brown is red shifted. It's actually the colour of the next chakra down below your red chakra of the rainbow. The next colour is brown. Brown is red. So you can either have, there's only two colours, there's red shift and blue shift. And my eyes are very light brown, usually. So, I hope this encourages all of you to remember to break the chains. When we came to this earth, we came laden with a lot of luggage, guys. And always remember, with your children first, don't pass on any traumatic things that your parents did to you, no matter what they did to you. I mean, my father was a good man. I mean, yeah, he used to pull the belt out, and most of the time I deserved it because I was highly energetic. And I used to love provoking my 5-year younger brother, Peter, who looks just like me, Scorpio, both Martians, 8th of November. I used to love provoking him. And my sister Angela, who was 2 years older, and she's a Capricorn. You see, Aries and the sheep and the goats, she was a Capricorn and a real Capricorn. She was bigger than me when I was, like 2 years. She was 2 years older, of course, and she used to grab me by the back of my hair, chase me, and pull this hair up and lift my feet off the ground. She used to love doing that. And then I got big, and then that stopped. The sheep prevailed over the goats. But I love my sister Angela, Sonia's mother. She's a beautiful girl. So is my sister Janie and Bruna, Pete and David. I've been blessed. I've never, ever, ever argued with any of my siblings or parents. I've never disconnected. I've never had a disconnect where I've had an argument where I've been offended and broken the link of love and connection between any of my family members, ever. I've been stern with them. I've been angry with them, but I've always maintained love and friendship unconditional. So David Amir Bonacci is the result and the conclusion of our ancestors' trauma and the sealing of the forever present for them and forever else who wishes to do this process. If you were a parent that didn't break the chain and you did damage your children, it's never too late to undo the harm while you're still alive. And I would, and because you need that frequency when you transition to the next realm. You need that forgiveness. It's interesting too, my son and I have always been professional musicians. And Arrested Development, another great rap band, in 2012, they came to Melbourne, Australia, and performed. And Zay, I forget his name now, and another member of Arrested Development were already following my syncretism, and they knew that my son was a rapper, and they invited me to go to their concert in St Kilda, Melbourne, with my son David and his bandmates, and we had the best night. you'll see a photo of me with Arrested Development, and there is one of my son in there as well, but it's not on my Facebook page. On my Facebook page, in my personal photos, for all those who are friends with me on Facebook, you'll scroll down and you'll see me that night with Arrested Development. And then, of course, in 2020, my son connected. I was in Los Angeles. I didn't know who Killer Priest was. And when I found out who he was in Wu-Tang Clan, I said to myself, we were on the La Cienega Boulevard there or something, and around, I don't know, somewhere around Venice Beach. And I thought to myself, let's see if my son knows who this Killer Priest guy is. So I texted him. I said, guess who I'm hanging out? I'm going to a party tonight in Los Angeles. The Wu-Tang Clan are having a party, and I've been invited by Killer Priest. And the answer was, no way. My son was like, pull the other leg, come on. And I said, yes way. And then all of these messages, he said to me, Dad, please make sure you tell him that he's been one of my top 5 influences from since I was 15. And now it's coming full circle, and he will be coming to America, and I will see him. He will come to see me after 4 years of not hugging my beautiful son, David Amir Bonacci. Happy birthday, son. Happy birthday. And may you have many, many more. I feel honoured that I had the chance to have you in my life, to have had you in my life, and to be your father, quote unquote, your friend. You are my best friend, and I'm very, very happy to say that the balance that I see in you and the way you treat your friends and how they treat you, I realise that part of that was a gift from me. And I think it's the best thing I've ever given you, to tell you that I love you every day. And you know that. You had to tell me to stop kissing you at frickin', I don't know. I think your mum will remember. I knew the day was coming. But, yeah, I mean, you had to tell me to stop kissing you, right? You know, in public. I'd pick you up at school and, hey, son, kiss you. And I could see toward the end there, I could see it was coming. I could see that you were going to say, all right, let's not show our affection and love in public. And that's all good. But know this, that I love you unconditionally, always will. I'm proud of you and the transitions and transformations you're making in your music, especially now that you're working with other great guys making guided meditation music with beautiful Bolivian pan flutes. Wait for that one, guys. I know you've seen the naughty side of my son, like you've seen the naughty side of me many times. At least he and I are brutally honest. We always are. What you see is what you get. But he's way more balanced than me. So I just want to say that karmically and dharmically, I feel that having you in my life was a gift from the gods to break the pain and the agony and the trauma of all my ancestors. Learn about Tarpanam, guys, by Dr. Pilar on YouTube. Learn how to free your ancestors from bondage for all the mistakes they passed down to you. You, the one who is listening, it's up to you now to break the chains. We have to break the chains. That's the reason why everything goes wrong in our lives. It starts here, bad thoughts, bad speech, bad actions, and then we reap the harvest. Believe you me, I have been reaping the harvest of all my bad actions for years. So now what I've got to do is practice what I preach and do what I did for my son and do it for myself. So I know I've got a lot more to say, but essentially I just want to give my love unconditionally to you, David, the king, the prince, the good energy, son that the heavens allowed me to be the father of. So as I turn around and break that, which I have done, I'll talk about that in another vid, probably soon, probably not. There is no time and I'm not going to be rushed anymore. And by the way, that was another thing. The conditioning that I got before 12 was to rush. I've always been very, very fast. Aries rules the cerebrospinal nervous system. Arians are very nervous, very fiery. And I have been extra nervous and edgy and stressful and fiery because of that conditioning. Because my father would always say, hurry up, stupid. Rush. And I've been rushing for 60 years. Headlong into many blessings, but many tragedies. And in my next video, I'll talk about what I've been doing to finally come to my resting home in the forever present. And that's the present, by the way. There's no time. There's no past. There's no future. There's just the forever now. Om. And that's why it's called the present, because it's a present from the gods. Here is your present. Be present. So I was conditioned to do and not to be. My beingness was bashed out of me traumatically by a good man who didn't know how to break the chain. Vittorio Bonacci. Vittorio means victor, and he is the victor. Because his son, he knows now because of where he is out there, his son broke the Bonacci ancestral curse, because I have loved my son unconditionally and told him since the day I saw him in the flesh or when he was conceived until this, his 31st birthday. So I hope my son's birthday, the 30th of September, will inspire as many people as possible who are traumatised right now and don't know how to break the chain. Maybe they're alcoholics, maybe they're drug addicts. I'm lucky I never had any addictions, ever. Like right now, I guess you could say I'm tripping on, I don't know whether tripping is a good word. I'm blissing on almond butter, THC, and I'm also taking CBNs. Take 4 of these critters every day, and they are the receptors that make the cannabinoids connect in your brain and everything, right? See the last live I did about Jason Love. And this is a hemp shirt that Jason can source when people are ready and want to go the hemp path. But I'm going to support Jason. Pretty soon we're going to do a live, and we're going to bring hemp back to where Ned Kelly had a hemp farm. You know, Ned Kelly, he was around when Billy the Kid, both Irish teenagers, both at the same time, 1870s, were fighting the Australian corporate government, who decided that they were going to remove hemp and they were going to bring in other fibres into Australia, like cotton and whatever. And Ned Kelly, Irish, Chucky Allah, all you Irish people, remember to sing Chucky Allah, our day will come. I learnt that when I went to Ireland. I learnt that expression, our day will come. So, Ned Kelly, I grew up exactly by road, 25 miles. No, sorry, 29 miles from Glenrowan, where Ned Kelly grew up. 20 minutes as the crow flies. 20 minutes. I grew up in Werrowley, Oxleyshire, born in Myrtleford, went to college in Wangaratta, and grew up in the middle of Myrtleford and Wangaratta, a place called Werrowley, an Aboriginal name meaning land underwater. And so I don't know where I was going with that, but yeah, I knew that Ned Kelly was a hero. We all did. They couldn't fool us. They couldn't, even though I was taught in Werrowley Primary School, where Ned Kelly used to visit. He used to come to Werrowley, where I was born, to watch the horse races. There used to be a horse track in Werrowley, and they removed it. I remember I was going to school in Werrowley Primary School in 1972, and we celebrated the centenary of that school, which was 100 years earlier, 1872, when Ned Kelly, just 20 minutes from where I grew up, was trying to bring hemp. He had a hemp farm, and they shut him down. And that's where the Ned Kelly story and the Ned Kelly gang started. He was a hero. He saw the corporate government, because you remember 1871 was the year that America created its maritime constitution, 1871, February. And that's when Ned Kelly and all of these types like Billy the Kid, Jesse James, and a lot of others, a hell of a lot of outlaws. Australia has more outlaws than any other country in history. Just check it out. Go to Wikipedia and punch in Outlaws Australia, then Outlaws USA, and you will see that we had 50% more outlaws in Australia than the USA had, including the greatest of all, Ned Kelly. Why do we say the greatest? Well, the first full-feature motion picture in history, 1907, was about Ned Kelly. And then Mick Jagger played Ned Kelly in the 60s. And then Heath Ledger played Ned Kelly. He did a great job. And who else played Ned Kelly? I just can't think. It's another great Hollywood actor. Orlando Bloom was his brother too. The Kelly gang was Ned Kelly, Dan Kelly, I forget the other two guys' names. But that spirit of Ned Kelly, guys, keep it alive. The corporate government, it doesn't exist. It's a fiction. When you center yourself and you find your ever-present, the present of the gods, then you can tap into your real power. And you don't have to use force, which I've done all my life. I mistook power for force. You are all unlimited in power, all of you. But you haven't been able to tap into it for various reasons. Most of the reasons are because trauma. Conditioning before the age of 7. They get you into kindergarten, you're gone. You're a victim of indoctrination, state, military-style indoctrination. That's why Santos Bonacci, he quit school as quick as he could, even before the legal age, which was 15. At 14 and a half, I remember it was just after Elvis Presley died in August 77. I was 14 and a half. I got the hell out of there and started picking tobacco on my father's tobacco farm. No, my uncle's. But anyway, that was my first job and I loved it and I was so glad that I was out of school. Those professors were like 1 billion times dumber than me. Like I was, even from the age of 9, my teachers were... Only Mr. Redfern liked me. All the other teachers said that I would be the death of them. Sammy, you will be the death of me. You don't listen. I would just space out and go, whew, stupid is stupid. How do I get out of this place and conserve my intelligence? Well, I worked it out. I deliberately got myself caught smoking 3 times. And so Chimpy, they used to call him, the vice president, Chimpy, he sat me down and he said, Sammy, you really can't leave because you're not 15, but you've got 2 choices. You quit school on your own, or what's the word when not suspend. I had suspensions. The first 2 times I got caught smoking. We're going to, what's the word? Come on, when they kick you out of school. Anyway, he said, you got 2 choices. And inside, I was like smiling. My heart was beating. I thought, oh, am I hearing this? Chimpy, who, by the way, used to give me the cuts. He'd given me the cuts at least 6 times. You know what the cuts are? You hold out your 2 hands. You hold out your 2 hands like that, right? Well, I mean, I can't show my 2 hands because I'm holding my phone. You put your 2 hands in front of you and he gets a belt. He gets a leather belt and he goes, whack, whack. And I think I got 6. I remember going back to class crying and the kids would say, how many did you get this time? And I'm like, I got 6. Were they hard? And I said, yes. My hands would ache for days. Chimpy. Through Chimpy, because he was a small man and he was hunched, he looked like a chimpanzee. Wangaratta Technical College. Just go into the history of Wangaratta Technical College and you'll see he was the vice president. I forget who the president was at the time. But anyway, and I'm so glad, like Mark Twain said, I spent years and money educating myself and then the rest of my life unbrainwashing myself. All right, guys, my battery is about 10%. A lot more to say about how you can find the ever-present and regain all your power. I've always done that from the beginning, from 2011 when I first started my YouTube channel, 2011, January 9, Jimmy Page's birthday, I think it was. Yeah, I remember it was a good date, but it was January, Capricorn, 2011. I started my channel and I've always been empowering people, liberating them from lies and helping them to be self-determined. All right, so I'm going to close off here. And I love you, David. I love you with all my heart, always have, always will, unconditionally. And this is my birthday present to you. Now that you are a mature man, 31 years of age, that you will understand what I'm telling you, that I gave you many presents. I taught you 4 languages. I taught you music. I taught you how to ride a bike. I was there with you, your best friend, all through your life. And this is my present to you, to remind you that I broke the chain. And kept my love together for you and you for me for all of these years, which means it will be forever. I love you, my son. I love you with all my heart. May the gods bless your endeavours. I know you're very much like me. All your friends tell you, and it's funny, a good 90% of my friends, musicians, when they meet David, my son, they first ask whether I'm related to Santos Bonacci, and he gets to see the reaction when he says, yes, I'm his only begotten son. And he enjoys the reaction. It's funny that all of his friends knew me before they knew him. All right. Know that I love you, my son, and know that the best gift of all the things that I taught you and passed on to you was that I was there to reassure you and hug you and tell you that I love you. And I know that's why you always tell me you love me. You've never ever sent a message to me where you've never said, I love you, Dad, you're my role model, you're my hero, you're my inspiration. May you have a beautiful day on this holy day of your birthday and for the rest of your life. And may that ripple on to all of the universe and all the beings therein. And with that, it is with great satisfaction that I am able to share this live and give my son the best gift that I've ever gifted him. Please continue being beautiful. Please continue being good and goodness. And I wish you all the blessings you deserve. Thank you for listening, guys. Much love.